Good morning. My name is Otto Moreno. I'm a sergeant with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, currently assigned to the Rancho Cucamonga station. During the past month, Rancho Cucamonga detectives have been deeply involved in investigating a rash of violent home invasion robberies. Through investigation, detectives have learned of other home invasion robberies committed by the same suspects in San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Detectives from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and investigators from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department are working closely together to solve these crimes. Here with me today, I have the case agents from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, Morongo Basin Station, and Rancho Cucamonga Station. They are here today to explain the case up to date and provide the public with the status and progress of this investigation. Also here is a victim from one of the home invasion robberies who is here to explain his experience.
When you come up, do you mind just speaking out?
Definitely. Hi, good morning. I'm Investigator Ruben Martinez with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. On September 20th, 2019, at about 8:52 in the morning, a home invasion occurred in the 1000 block of Stagecrest in the city of San Bernardino, county of Riverside County. The victim, a female, was outside in her front yard when she was approached by two African-American males who were in possession of handguns, pointed their handguns at her, dragged her into the residence, and ransacked her home. While inside the residence, she was bound, and the suspects were inside the residence for approximately a little bit short of an hour, left the residence with items from the residence, and went from there. Our investigation later resulted in the identification of one of the suspects, who is currently in custody.
Good afternoon. I'm Detective Benjamin Henry with the Morongo Basin Sheriff Station in San Bernardino County. On Tuesday, October 1st, at approximately 12:30 hours, deputies from the Morongo Basin Station were dispatched to a report of a home invasion robbery in the 57,000 block of Buena Suerte Road. Upon arrival, deputies discovered that at least two suspects had forced entry into the residence, where the victim, a 79-year-old male adult who's also a Vietnam veteran, was inside. The victim was forced into the rear of the residence, where he was left while the suspects ransacked the home and stole miscellaneous items. One of the items included a ring that was forced from the victim's finger that symbolized he and his wife's marriage for the last 49 years. During the course of the investigation, the suspect, Jeffery Taylor-Thompson, a 28-year-old resident of Highland, was identified, who had been currently placed into custody in Las Vegas, Nevada. Additionally, some of the stolen items were recovered, including the ring, which has been returned to that victim at this time.
Good morning. I'm Detective Sanchez from the Rancho Cucamonga Police Department. I'm a detective there. On October 3rd, 2019, just before 9 p.m., a home invasion robbery occurred in the 6,000 block of DeCarlo Place in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. The victims reported 3 black male adults wearing hooded sweatshirts, facial coverings, and gloves suddenly approached them as they sat in their open garage. The suspects were armed with handguns and used a pepper spray type of chemical agent to spray the victims in their faces, including the faces of their minor children. The suspects then restrained the entire family by securing their hands with plastic zip ties. The suspects repeatedly assaulted one family member and forced him into his residence and into a bedroom where he was ordered to open a locked safe. The suspects were able to rob the victims of their personal belongings and flee the location. I have one victim from this incident here today, and he's going to talk about his experience, Mr. Mode Hafez.
Should I stand on this? Or?
You'd like.
My name is Mike Hafez. Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Mike Hafez, and my family were victims of a recent home invasion in the San Bernardino County. On the evening of October 3rd, we experienced the most horrifying night of our lives. 3 criminals, armed with handguns, entered our residence and proceeded to pepper spray us and tie the whole family. Despite complying with their demands, I was pistol whipped multiple times in the head. And they continually launched threats to kill my entire family. At the end of this terrifying ordeal, they gathered us all in the living room and pointed their weapons at the whole family and yelled, "Maybe we should kill them all." They were able to escape with valuables, but the most important thing they stole from us is our sense of security and the comfort of our own home. The impact this had on my family, my wife, my children was tremendous. We endured a lot of sleepless nights. A heightened sense of fear in our own home and trauma that will be with us for a long time. My 10-year-old, till now, cannot go anywhere in the house alone. My daughter hasn't slept in her room since that incident. To the city residents, we need to be all vigilant, cooperate with the police, and be proactive in maintaining security in our own communities by reporting suspicious activities and remaining aware of our surroundings and taking measures to secure ourselves and our homes. We can make a concerted effort to tackle crime around us. I'd like to thank the County Sheriff Department of San Bernardino and Rancho Cucamonga Police Department for their tremendous support, hard work, and determination in making a safer place for all. The progress they have made in this ongoing investigation is very encouraging to our family and community. Police departments like ours are the foundation of liberty and justice in our country. Thank you all for your service. My family, my community, and my city are grateful. I hope and pray that no family ever experienced the tragedy we went through, and I urge you all to stay safe. Tonight, my family and I will be able to sleep much better. Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions for Mr. Hafez?
Mr. Hafez, can you talk a little bit about those moments when you're there years ahead of your family, you and your wife, and you are helpless at this point, and your children are there? Can you even put into words what that's like as a family?
To be honest with you, it's hard to put toward these things. You know, it's just, you got taken by surprise, and it makes you feel violated and angry on the inside, because as a father, my main important job is to protect my family. And at that time, I felt like I failed to protect them. So it makes you feel so angry and so violated inside your own home.
Do you wonder why your family? Why did these suspects choose you?
I think I let my guard down. You know, it's by leaving our garage door open and just staying there, thinking that nothing like this ever gonna happen to us. But
What's your advice to other people? You said you left your garage door, but that's a simple thing. I do that too.
yeah, but I mean, I've been doing that for over 30 years and nothing ever happened. This time it's something scary, so we need not to let our guard down anymore. At least watch. We were taken by surprise, that's why. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Donald Patton. I'm a detective with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Rancho Cucamonga Station. For the past month, detectives from the Rancho Cucamonga Police Department have worked relentlessly with detectives from the Morongo Basin Sheriff's Station, as well as investigators from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department in conducting investigations into these 3 related home invasion robberies. As a result of these ongoing investigations, the detectives have made one arrest of one of the suspects responsible in these home invasion robberies. A significant amount of real and forensic evidence was located in identifying 28-year-old Jeffery Taylor-Thompson, who is a resident of the city of Highland. Mr. Thompson is currently on Post Release Community Supervision out of San Bernardino County and is also currently on formal felony probation out of the state of Nevada for weapons possession charges. On October 21st, 2019, Mr. Thompson was contacted by troopers in the state of Nevada during a traffic stop and was arrested on unrelated charges. At that time, Mr. Thompson was transported and booked into custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Las Vegas. On October 28th, 2019, detectives from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department responded to Las Vegas, Nevada, and executed a search warrant on the vehicle that was driven by Mr. Thompson at the time of his arrest. Inside of that vehicle, detectives located evidence linking him to all 3 robberies that were committed in San Bernardino County and Riverside County. Detectives then responded to the county jail in Vegas and made contact with Mr. Thompson and conducted an interview with him. However, due to the ongoing investigation, we will not release any statements that were made by him as a result of that interview. At this time, detectives do not have the identity of the 2 remaining suspects during these 3 robberies. These suspects were extremely violent during these robberies and were armed with weapons during each of them. We believe that the suspects should be considered armed and dangerous, and we are requesting the public's assistance in identifying the 2 remaining suspects. Anyone with information about the identity of these 2 suspects are urged to contact detectives from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and/or the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. If you choose to remain anonymous, you may contact the We Tip hotline at 1-800-78-CRIME. On Wednesday, on October 14th, 2019, Rancho Cucamonga also experienced another home invasion robbery in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. That was just houses away from the first home invasion robbery. Through our investigation, we obtained real and forensic evidence at that robbery investigation. As a result of that investigation, we identified Mr. Dennis Charles Franks as the suspect of that home invasion robbery. On Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019, members of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Specialized Investigations Division located Mr. Franks at his residence in the city of Highland, California. Upon contact with Mr. Franks, he fled from deputies on foot and threw a gun onto the ground. Detectives recovered that gun and executed a search warrant at his residence. During the search warrant, detectives located evidence linking Mr. Franks to the second home invasion robbery in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. Based on our extensive investigation at this time, although there are numerous similarities and coincidences in these investigations, we have determined up to this point that neither of the investigations are related, and neither of the home invasions between Mr. Franks and Mr. Thompson are related. To my left are photographs of Mr. Thompson and Mr. Franks. On October 25th, detectives provided the case on Mr. Franks to the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office, where they filed numerous criminal charges against Mr. Franks for his involvement of the second home invasion robbery in Rancho Cucamonga. Mr. Franks was charged with a violation of Penal Code 209, kidnapping to commit robbery, Penal Code 211, first-degree residential robbery, Penal Code 245, assault with a deadly weapon, Penal Code 29800, a felon in possession of a firearm, and PC 459, first-degree residential burglary. After the filing of the criminal charges, Mr. Franks was arraigned on those charges and remains in custody in lieu of no bail. Mr. Franks has a court date scheduled for Monday, November 4th, 2019, at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. There have been several similar home invasion robberies throughout San Bernardino County and Riverside County. And we are actively working with investigators from those agencies to determine if either of these suspects or the two outstanding suspects are responsible for those unsolved home invasion robberies. Due to the complex investigation, detectives are limited on what specific details we will release at this time. Detectives would like to remind the public to be extra vigilant and cautious around your residence, locking all doors and windows. If you see a suspicious person or vehicle in your neighborhood or around your residence, you are urged to contact the police department immediately. If you have any further information regarding either of these cases, please contact detectives from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department or the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. At this time, the case agents will take any questions that you may have regarding their specific cases.
I have a question about the, level of concern that you see in the community when you have a couple of guys who are in Highland, but it sounds like they weren't just working in Highland. You've got home invasion in Rancho, home invasion in the Morongo Basin, and then also one in San Jacinto. So they are all over the place.
Correct. That's why we remind citizens all over both counties to be extra vigilant. Throughout the investigation, we have found that these guys have not targeted specific residences in certain cities, that they're targeting whatever opportunity they have wherever they may be at that time.
Don, can you talk about the connection between these two guys? I'm kind of confused by the arrest of Thompson, but then Charles Franks continued. Were they kind of working as a crew, or are these two separate guys who were doing two separate home invasions?
Based on the investigation at this point, there's completely two separate unrelated robberies in Rancho Cucamonga. Although they were just houses away from each other, we have been unable to identify any links between the two of them or any links between the two home invasion robberies. We believe that the second robbery was just a chance and possibly a copycat of what was seen in the first robbery.
Can you give us, just so we're not confused, a timeline? I know you guys went in depth with it, but if you can just simplify it with Thompson and Franks and how that worked and who's connected to what.
So on the home invasion robbery on October 3rd in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, which was conducted by Detective Sanchez, we identified Mr. Thompson as responsible for that robbery.
Was working with someone at that time?
Working with the two unidentified suspects who are also believed to be responsible for the robberies in Yucca Valley as well as the robbery in Riverside County. Through the investigation, approximately 11 days after the first robbery, we had the second home invasion robbery just down the street from the first one. Initially, seems how they were so close and the type of actions that were taken during the robberies, we suspected that they were related at that point. We conducted our investigation believing that the two robberies were related. However, as we got deeper into the investigation and we identified both suspects, we quickly learned through the evidence and the statements obtained that the two robberies are not related.
So you're pretty sure that Franks is not one of the two outstanding suspects?
At this time, yes.
We hear about home invasion robberies where someone forces their way in and say, hey, go to the back room, they ransack the place real quick, and then they're out of there. But can you describe the level of seriousness and violence in these, which seems to be much worse? You were saying at one point, in one of the robberies, they were in there for about an hour.
Correct, and I'll let Investigator Martinez talk about the level of violence in his case.
Correct. In that incident, they were.
Step up.
Sure, no problem. Sorry about that. In that incident, they were there for roughly a little bit short of an hour. As soon as they made their way in, like I stated, both were armed, literally dragged the female into the residence, tied her, bound her inside the residence while they ransacked the residence, and then left with unknown amount of items from the residence.
And the surveillance video that you guys released, can someone describe what we see in that and whether you think that one of the, well, it sounds like one of the people in the surveillance video is Thompson, but the two others are unknown. Can you describe what you see in the video and explain that?
Sure, the surveillance video that was released is related to the first home invasion robbery in the city of Rancho Cucamonga. So I'll invite Detective Sanchez up to discuss what's in the video and who's related to what.
So during the home invasion robbery on October 3rd, which took place in the 6,000 block of DeCarlo Place in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, the suspects were very organized in their fashion and prepared with coverings to disguise their faces, their identities. They actually watched the victims from their driveway as they sat and visited in their open garage for approximately 2 minutes. When they found the opportunity right, they then charged the garage. What I spoke about before was what had transpired about that incident. We want to advise the community to please remain vigilant. These suspects are capable of exhibiting violence on willing people that are actually listening to them and following their directions. You know, if someone actually exhibits force against them, they may actually use their weapons. So we really want to heighten people's security about these two outstanding suspects, and that's why we're asking for the public's help in order to get these people off of the streets so they can stop victimizing good citizens.
In the one clip, there's one of them has the zip ties, the other one has the gun. Are either one of those two Thompson?
Yeah, those details aren't going to be released at this time just to protect the integrity of the investigation, but Thompson is in that video, yes.
And the second home invasion robbery that happened days later, if you will, that's Frank's in that video with the hoodie. That he's standing in we had a video of him he talks to somebody at the front door is locked, and they go in through the garage. It looks, from what I've seen in that video, that looks like Frank's. Is that who you believe?
That is the only and sole suspect that was identified in that robbery.
Okay, so in that robbery, there were two other people you're still looking for.
In the first home invasion robbery on October 3rd, Franks committed a robbery 11 days later.
Gotcha. And so was Frank's working with anyone else?
We're not going to release that information at that time, but we do believe that he was the only sole participant in that crime.
Oh, so the two people you're looking for were with Thompson.
Correct.
You believe Frank's on that home invasion robbery, that was a solo deal?
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We just wanted also to point out that these suspects, as we stated numerous times, were extremely violent during the home invasion robbery, the first home invasion robbery in Rancho Cucamonga, and the home invasion robbery in Riverside County. They were very calculated in their methods of how they performed these home invasion robberies. During the first home invasion robbery in Rancho Cucamonga, there was 3 suspects, as we mentioned. 2 are still outstanding. During that robbery, they were very calculated in their activities, to the point that one person stayed with the family at all times as they were bound and tied with zip ties after being pepper sprayed, and the 2 remaining suspects forcefully and violently took Mr. Hafez up to his safe in his bedroom. So we want to remind the public to be extremely careful if they are a victim of a home invasion robbery, to do just like Mr. Hafez and his family did, cooperate with the suspects, try not to fight with them or anger them to prevent any further injury to themselves. Any further questions at this time?
Can you, real quick, just elaborate on the boldness of these suspects? Because if I'm a robber and I'm going to pick a home, I'm going to see if there's surveillance cameras and things like that. This didn't matter for these robbers.
Correct, it did not matter. In 3 of the 4 robberies, there was surveillance video and other security measures at these homes that did not affect these suspects. And they were very bold in their nature of the robberies. They did go through extra efforts to conceal their identities by covering their faces and things like that. And that's why we want to point out that these guys are extremely dangerous. The security cameras are not preventing them, and they are going to do what they need to do to commit their crime, whether there's security cameras or other security measures in place.
I'm still kind of amazed at the fact that home invasion robbery happened on one street, 11 days later, This Franks guy commits another robbery, very similar, literally around the corner. Do you get the sense, and they don't know each other, do you think that there's like a copycat thing? Like this guy saw on TV, maybe, hey, man, there's a lot of rich people that live in this neighborhood, I'm gonna do the same thing. Was kind of, preying on the same people? Any kind of copycat connection or anything?
That's what we believe at this point, is that it was a copycat connection. We've worked extremely diligently with all the detectives up here trying to find a link between these two, and we have been unable to do so. We feel that Mr. Franks acted solo. The actions of his robbery were completely different than those of the other robberies. So there's a lot of evidence that we're not going to disclose at this time that points to them being separate robberies. You have more? All right, thank you very much for coming, and have a good day.